Micah Dunley looked like any other tired driver pulled over late at night until Officer Mallory Griggs opened his trunk and found a missing college student bound and barely breathing inside. What neither of them knew in that moment was that this routine traffic stop in Jacksonville would unravel the dark legacy of a man who had been hiding in plain sight for years, leaving a trail of missing women. But tips had dried up until that moment. The officers moved quickly, calling for paramedics and securing Micah in cuffs. He offered no resistance. The entire event captured clearly on Griggs' bodycam was uploaded internally, but within 48 hours, it was leaked and exploded online. What had been seen as a random stop was now viral proof of a near-miraculous rescue. But as more people watched, more questions began to surface. And none of them had easy answers. Unanswered questions and a terrifying clue that suggested Jenna Cole was only the beginning. It started like any other routine traffic stop in Jacksonville, Florida. Officer Mallory Griggs was nearing the end of her shift. Did something unusual. He stepped out of the car before being asked. For a trained officer, that was a red flag. Mallory instructed him to remain still and radioed for backup. Her bodycam recorded the interaction, showing a visibly anxious man shifting weight between his feet, glancing repeatedly at the rear of his vehicle. His license and registration were delayed. He claimed the car belonged to a friend, couldn't recall the friend's last name, and gave conflicting answers when asked about his destination. Everything about the stop became progressively stranger. Just after midnight, when she noticed a silver Honda Civic swerving slightly between lanes on Bay Meadows Road, what they didn't expect was the faint sound coming from the trunk, barely audible, like muffled tapping or a weak attempt to knock. It was Officer Griggs who leaned closer, pressing her ear to the metal just long enough to confirm she hadn't imagined it. The trunk was pried open, and what they discovered stunned everyone. Inside, curled in a fetal position, was a young woman, alive but bound with rope and tape. Her mouth was gagged, and her hands were zip-tied behind her back. The driver didn't use a turn signal and appeared hesitant at a green light, raising just enough suspicion to warrant pulling him over. She activated her lights, and the vehicle slowly coasted to a stop near the side of the road. Dashcam footage captured everything up to that point. It looked ordinary, even boring. But within minutes, what should have been a simple citation turned into a nationwide headline. The driver, later identified as 29-year-old Micah Dunley. When the second patrol car arrived, both officers approached the vehicle with caution. She was identified as Jenna Cole, a missing college student from just 8 days prior. Her photo had circulated across Florida. Tips about Jenna Cole's disappearance had stopped coming in, but after she was found alive in the trunk of Micah Dunley's car, everything changed. The officers quickly called for medical help and arrested Micah without a struggle. Officer Mallory Griggs' bodycam had recorded the entire event, though the video was only meant for internal review. It was leaked online within days and it quickly went viral. What seemed like a routine traffic stop turned into proof of a dramatic rescue. But as more people watched the video, more questions started to appear. None of them had easy answers. The video was shared everywhere. News stations played it non-stop. People praised Officer Griggs, but crime experts began studying every second of the footage. One of them was Carson Vell, a retired FBI profiler who had a popular YouTube channel. He uploaded a detailed reaction video called "What This Bodycam Footage Really Shows." It quickly became a trending topic. Carson noticed details that most people missed. Micah's body language was strange. His shoulders slouched, he tapped his thigh, and he avoided eye contact. These were signs that he might be hiding something. Carson also pointed out that Officer Griggs made the right call by waiting for backup before checking the trunk. That decision, he said, may have saved Jenna's life and possibly others. Then Carson focused on the ropes used to tie Jenna. The knots were the kind used in boating. This suggested Micah might have experience with boats or coastal areas. It also raised more serious concerns. Was he working with someone else? Was this part of a bigger plan? Police took this seriously. They got a search warrant for Micah's apartment, just 10 minutes from the traffic stop. What they found inside was disturbing. Hidden in drawers and shoeboxes were dozens of women's belongings: bracelets, phones, journals, and shoes. None of it belonged to Jenna. Everything was labeled with dates. Police now believed Jenna wasn't the only victim. This wasn't just one crime, it was part of something much bigger. As the case made headlines, more people started sending in tips. One woman in Savannah, Georgia, saw Carson's video and remembered a strange event from a year earlier. Her cousin had let a friend named Mike borrow her car. When she got it back, The trunk had scratches and hair that wasn't hers. She told police, but nothing came of it. Now, she believed Mike was really Micah Dunley. Police reopened the case. DNA from the trunk hair matched the rope used to tie Jenna. That one tip connected Micah to another state and showed he had been moving around with fake names, avoiding capture. A joint task force from Florida and Georgia started looking into every place Micah had lived or worked in the past 5 years. More evidence came in. Security camera footage from a gas station in Macon, Georgia, showed Micah with another woman just weeks before Jenna's rescue. That woman was never identified and is still missing. Police looked into old missing persons cases along highways Micah had used. A silver Honda Civic, his car, had been mentioned in several, but no one had been able to prove a link before. Back in Jacksonville, forensic teams searched Micah's apartment again. Under a heavy cabinet, they found small traces of blood in the carpet. Tests showed the blood belonged to a missing woman from Daytona Beach. They brought in cadaver dogs to search the dumpster area outside. The dogs alerted, but no bodies were found. The public mood shifted. What had seemed like a story of a smart officer and lucky rescue became a terrifying look at a hidden predator. Micah had avoided suspicion, used different names, and left almost no evidence. Jenna's rescue now seemed like a rare stroke of luck in what was shaping up to be a long series of carefully planned abductions. 2 weeks later, a plain envelope arrived at Jacksonville Police Headquarters. There was no name or return address. Inside was a typed letter from someone claiming to have kidnapped several women across 3 states. The person said that watching the Bodycam video online made them realize the end was near. The letter gave details that only someone involved could know. It also included a map with 6 red X's in rural areas of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina and 1 blue X near the Savannah River. Police acted fast. At the first 3 red X's, they found shallow graves. Inside were the remains of women who had gone missing years earlier. 2 other X's marked places where they found clothes, ID cards, and jewelry from still missing women. At the 6th red X in southern Georgia, they didn't find anything at first, but cadaver dogs led them to another grave hidden under old trash. It held bones and tape. DNA later proved the body was a woman who had vanished 3 years ago, never linked to Micah until now. The blue X led to the most disturbing find. It pointed to an old, abandoned boathouse in South Carolina. Behind a rotten wall panel, police found a suitcase filled with photos of unconscious women in different locations. Some photos were printed, others developed from film. Many of the women in the pictures haven't been identified. The suitcase was more than just a collection, it was proof that Micah may have been doing this for 10 years or longer. Micah never spoke a word. He showed no emotion in jail and refused to talk to investigators. The letter, signed only M, was the last piece of real evidence. Police believe there are more victims still out there, and more families waiting for answers. In his final video, Carson Vell ended with a haunting message. The bodycam saved 1 life. It may have solved several murders, but what's terrifying is how close this man came to never being caught at all. If not for a misturned signal, none of this would have been discovered.